Hey guys, so the weekend is about over, and as a result, we've been playing the new league, the Last of the Druids, for a couple days right now, and boy, are the results and reviews mixed. Now, for me, I haven't gotten super deep into the game because I started off with a pretty bad build, and unfortunately, doing the hybrid minions plus yourself as a wolf doing damage just isn't quite the way to go. Sadly, there is not really much support for that playstyle, even though it seemed like there was going to be some. But you know what? It's fine. But man, you guys have been very mixed on the league. And I'd say I've been a little bit mixed on the league as well. So I wanted to give my first impressions about what I think of the Last of the Druids. Now, first things first, let's talk about the new class, the Druid. I would say that the Druid class is a very, very cool class thematically. You know, you have your Wyvern form, you have your Wolf form, and then you have your Bear form. And all these forms are really cool. They've got some really cool abilities, really cool mechanics, something that I would say that, we haven't really seen too much of before in Path of Exile. Now, the classes themselves are cool, and I would say that some people have been struggling to make it through the campaign, but I've also heard results of the other way around, which probably means that some people probably had really bad weapons and gear going through the campaign, and some people had some really good weapons and gear going through the campaign. Me, I had some really bad gear. This is still the best weapon I have right now. It is a level 46 weapon with +2 melee. It's the best weapon I got in the entire campaign. It is the only weapon that I got with a +2 melee skills, unfortunately. So my experience on top of playing a bad build was really bad. But regardless, I think that all three classes are really cool and pretty decent. I would say that so far from what I've seen in the end game, there is no class that is super like overperforming in terms of like clear speed and stuff like that, right? There's no like lightning arrow type of classes. And I would say that overall, they're just very solid classes. They can challenge the end game, clear at a decent pace with probably Bear and Wolf being the faster ones. I think Wyvern is the slowest one out of all of them, but nothing crazy. But the class itself, really cool ideas, and overall feels good to play. But there have been quite a few bugs with the classes, and that is something that has been present through the entirety of the game right now. There are a lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, and there's like this, I don't know, low res type of situation where all the textures and details are like messed up and stuff like that going on. Like, there are a lot of bugs. So class good, update overall, I don't know, a little bit mixed, right? There's a lot of problems, and we can see why they kind of delayed this class for a while. There are a lot of animation issues that I've experienced already, and it just feels overall jank sometimes. But again, the bugs, that is the big thing. It really does not feel very polished. Now, that's not a big problem because, you can always do hot fixes, right? They're on weekend right now. They still have a little bit before Christmas break or winter break or whatever, so they can fix some of these problems going out the gate. But I feel like it definitely has been, in my opinion, the least polished patch so far. Maybe it's recency bias, but it really feels like there's a lot of bugs, a lot of issues. Though performance, whenever there is not buggy, is actually really good. I have not had that many issues. Of course, I'm playing on a 5090, right? High specs, top of the line CPU, everything, right? So I haven't really had any issues, but I've never really had that big of issues. But I would say my feeling of performance is definitely better than what it has been in leagues past. So I do say that performance-wise, it is pretty dang good. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about something that I think has been very mixed, and that has to be the league mechanic. Now, the Fate of the Vault is a cool thing where they're bringing back Atsiri, a beloved boss. Everything about it is cool, and they brought in a couple of new uniques. Now, so far, I haven't really seen anybody do anything super creative with new uniques. There's the new Mana Flask that seems pretty decent. The kind of time loss jewel, the one that gives you a notable, seems kind of cool. But other than that, the other uniques don't really seem to be used that much. But then again, it's only been 2 days, so people are going to be cooking, right? But so far, it doesn't seem like there's any standout thing that has been added to the game from the new boss. But on top of that, the league mechanic itself has been very mixed. Now, everybody loved Abyss, right? Everybody loved it. They went in and like, wow, this is amazing. It's really hard, but it's a lot of fun, and it is giving us a lot of juice and a lot of loot. Now, the Fate of the Vol league mechanic is kind of like a, I don't know, in Path of Exile, kind of like incursions, I guess, kind of. But you're building a temple, building a dungeon, right? And that part is pretty cool. It's like a nice in-depth league mechanic that we can really sink our teeth into to kind of optimize and do, you know, many different strategies, which is kind of neat. And going into it during the campaign, it was really nice. It was giving us a lot of nice juice. It was giving us like free regals, free exalts that, you know, we basically used to craft and upgrade our campaign gear. It was nice. It was a nice boost in power, even though I didn't really feel it because my character was still really weak. But for those of us who got lucky, there was a nice boost of power that you normally wouldn't get. It has always been a complaint that there's not enough regals, not enough exalts throughout the campaign, and that kind of helps remedy that situation. Now, the problem lies after the campaign. During the campaign, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I hope this isn't all they do at the, you know, throughout the game. Like in the end game, getting regals and exalts is not great. And while I haven't really explored the mechanic all that much in the end game, again, because my build, I got to the end game pretty late, but I haven't really seen anything too juicy. I think you probably have to be pretty in depth with your knowledge of how to actually build these temples to potentially get some of this juice. But either way, like, again, I hear a lot through the grapevine, right? I listen to my viewers, they talk to me. A lot of them are pretty deep into the end game. And so far, I have heard crickets about this league mechanic. Nobody has been like, oh my god, it is absolutely crazy. It's giving me so much juice. It's giving me so much drops, right? Nobody has been that excited about the league mechanic. Whereas Abyss, people are like, oh my god, I'm getting so much currency, which is great. So that in itself is a big bummer because for me, my favorite league mechanics are the ones that don't take you out of the mapping experience. It's just like extra stuff in the map. You do it, you get juice, you're done, you have a good time, right? The ones that I don't like are the ones that may take you out of the mapping process and make you kind of slow down your pace, which is exactly what this league mechanic is. And it wouldn't be that much of a problem if it gave you like proportional juice slash like drops in currency versus like how much time you're spending doing it. But it really seems like these temples are quite long and you're really not getting that much value out of them. So on top of having to break your flow of going outside of your mapping process, you also aren't getting that much in return. And I've found myself also just skipping this mechanic entirely a lot of times. I just see it and I'm like, yeah, I'll kill the monsters at the top, but like going into the temple itself, I'll save that for later, right? I find myself procrastinating the temples because it takes a long time. It's not that rewarding, and it just takes me out of the flow. Now, Abyss was really nice. Again, it did kind of take you out of the flow a little bit, but jumping down into the Abyss was kind of just more mapping, right? The annoying part was the animation of jumping down, but other than that, the top part was like a lot of mobs, a lot of juice, and then going down, you also got a good bit of rewards. Like, getting an Omen of Light out of nowhere was really, really nice. On top of some of the other just crafting materials were really good money. It just really doesn't seem like the Vol mechanic is adding too much outside of the double corrupts, which probably is saved for the super, super end game. You're going to want to build up your temple, get the double corrupts, and hopefully gamble something good. But moving, like the process of getting there, you're not really getting that much as a player. Whereas with the Abyss League, the moment that you get it from the beginning, in the axe, you're getting juice all the way to the end. There's no point where you don't want to do the Abyss because it was always very rewarding and very, I mean, it wasn't easy. Their mobs were hard, but it was not that rewarding. Like it was very rewarding all throughout. Whereas this one is not that rewarding until you probably get to the end game when you're kind of double corrupting or corrupting Vol uniques to kind of make a really, really good item. So I really am personally disappointed in the league mechanic, and this is kind of like double disappointment for me as well because everybody actually thought this was going to be the big endgame update, right? They're like, oh my gosh, they were hyping it up. This is the endgame patch. We are going to be doing a lot of endgame stuff, but they didn't end up doing a lot of changes to the endgame. The only thing they really did that changed like the endgame trajectory was really they made it so that you couldn't instill the emotions onto maps, and then they made it so you can't do the abyss stuff onto your maps, right? You can't desecrate your maps. And then they replaced that with like better tablets, which is just more of the same basically. So they didn't change up the end game at all. So I was hoping that this league mechanic could potentially make up for the lack of new end game, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be the case. And this actually goes back to the live stream. I wasn't streaming at the time, so you guys probably didn't know, but on the podcast, I mentioned this, that I kind of wish that they just didn't do a new league mechanic, kind of did like a 0.2 where they had like a little bit of additions here and there, but no real league mechanic, but spent that time instead to work on the end game. Like, again, they probably put in a good amount of time to put the like infrastructure for laying out the temples and put the different areas and art, whatever it might be, right? They probably spent a good bit of time on that. I almost wish, and I do wish, that they had spent that time instead of making the league mechanic, making the end game better, because I think it probably would have been a lot easier to do that, to at least give us a little bit more end game, as opposed to right now where the league mechanic is, in my opinion, kind of half-baked, and the end game changes are also pretty half-baked slash non-existent. So that's kind of like, I would say, my big disappointment with this league. Not the classes, not like, you know, just like dying in the campaign, not the shape shifting, not the bugs or anything. It really is the promise of the end game, and then not delivering that on top of also not delivering the league mechanic that, in my opinion, they didn't deliver on the league mechanic. So yeah, that really is my first impressions of this league. Hopefully that impression changes. I would give this league so far maybe a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10. It's really carried by the Druid class. But other than that, everything else is kind of lukewarm for me. I'm still continuing to play the league. I'm still enjoying it. I'm going to be playing it for a month, 2 months, however long, right? But again, this is definitely not 0.3. 0.3 kind of knocked us, knocked it out of the park, whereas this one was very much lukewarm. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about this league? Are you enjoying it? Are you not enjoying it? Are you disappointed? Are you not disappointed? Just let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear it. And also, if you can, come hang out on my stream, twitch.tv/MeSoXtrue. I would love to see you guys there and talk to you guys more about the league as well. I stream every single night. And also, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the sub button. All right, guys, hopefully y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.